Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mensur Pudic, and I am the founder of Simply Motivated. And tonight, my guest is Marcin Lapczynski. Is that right, Marcin?
That is right.
I was wondering there for a second. I'm like, am I going to be able to pronounce his name? So I had to practice a little bit.
No, you did perfectly fine.
Thank you. Marcin, I want to get started off. We kind of, as we talked before, we kind of have a history of coming to the United States, trying to get to the American dream. You were born in Poland?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was born in Poland.
So tell me a little bit about Poland or what you remember back home.
Oh, Poland is a beautiful country. I miss it. What can I tell you? So I was born and raised. It was in a village. It was southwestern Poland, in the mountain area. So from what I remember, being a kid, having 12 years when I came here to the United States, it's been fun helping my parents in the fields, taking out the cattle, and then doing so many wonderful things. It's going to school, and then after school, it just, we had so much freedom because we had friends all over the place. So we would run around the village and do different activities, and especially in winter, we would go out and we would go skiing, we would go sledding, and so on. But the life in Poland, in the village, it wasn't easy, especially for our parents. Especially having farming, different types of animals, right? That you have to take them out to the fields, bring them back, and do all kinds of different stuff. We had different fields like potatoes or wheat and stuff like that we would have to do. So the life wasn't easy, especially for our parents. They would work full-time jobs as well, and then afterwards they would go out to the fields and they would work in the field. So yeah.
So I can relate a lot. Let me tell you, my parents have gone through that stuff. I came to the United States as a child. We escaped the war that took place in the early 1990s in Bosnia. What's the reason that you guys came to the United States? Was it just because of the opportunity that the United States presents compared to Poland, or what's one of the reasons you guys came here?
Oh, definitely. So one of the reasons we came here was for a better life. So my dad's parents were actually here and they sponsored us. So that's how we're able to come here. And it wasn't easy, especially when I found out from my mom that we're moving to another country, and that was a shock for me, because not knowing at 12 that other countries even exist, and here now we have to drop everything and just pack in 2-3 suitcases everything that we can and just leave. My mom was very scared because of the unknown. How is it going to be? How are we going to be able to survive without having that much family, having jobs and be able to support ourselves.
The unknown can be a scary place, right? And you know how the mind works. We've gone through some training, and I'm launching a program on myself. The unknown can be a scary place. We're going to a place where we don't know anything about. Probably the first time you were on a plane, me coming to the United States was the first time I was on an airplane. Different culture, different background. Everything's different from what we're used to, right? And people don't like change. We're creatures of habit. You came from Poland, and did you come directly to Chicago?
Yes, we did come directly to Chicago. Yes.
So living your life here, you came when you were 12 years old. You pretty much went to school here, right? And then you started. Did you go to college? What did you do in your career before you decided to sit down and start looking into having and owning your own business?
Coming to Chicago, to United States, it was very difficult. As the language barrier was one of the biggest challenges, not only for me, but for my parents, having parents in an older age, and it's a little bit more difficult, challenging for them to learn the second language. My dad was always into construction, since he was 17 years old. So that's all he knows, So in here, when we got here to Chicago, my uncle was able to find him a job. My mom was working in a factory, they were making shoes. So same thing over here, my aunt was able to find her a job at a factory when she still is a mechanical assembler and so on. So we lived at our aunt's house, for about a year, I would say, until we get acclimated, and then we're able to save some money to buy a vehicle. Because as you know, over here in the United States, and without a vehicle, it's really hard. We do have a good transportation in place, but you don't want to rely on transportation. You just want to sit and just go to store wherever you want to go. And I remember those days, have to walk for 2 miles to the grocery store. Sometimes you had to carry 5, 6 bags in each hand and just walk, in summer times and winter times. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't pleasant. But, later on, after some time, my parents were able to save some money, and then we're able to buy a car. And that was huge for us because, in Poland, we couldn't afford a car. We had a horse, and a carriage where, that's how we would transport in the village, and when we had to go to the city, then we would have to use public transportation. So yeah, I did go to elementary school here, which was really good because it was like a block away from where we used to live in. And then after elementary school, I went to high school, and then after that, I always had a passion for electronics. I was always into electronics, troubleshooting printed circuit boards, and repairing variety of different electronic components and so on. So I looked at many different colleges, but as you know, over here, education in the United States, it's very expensive. For some of the colleges, that I wanted to go, it was like 40,000 a year, which my parents couldn't afford. I couldn't afford it either. So I found another alternative college that was similar. It was also in electronics and so on, and I was working full-time job, and I went to school full-time as well. And it wasn't easy, but I had a goal, because how we're being taught, when you come here, get a job, get a good education, and just keep working. So that's the mentality, that's the mindset that it's just being passed on from our parents onto us.
When my parents came here, really similar backgrounds, right? Dad always worked construction. It's always what he knew how to do. They didn't have, or were limited with their education back home in Bosnia, and they wanted to push education here, and I went and I was able to get my associate's, bachelor's, master's degree, and accomplish things that, I wanted it to do. I wanted it to develop myself, and that's one of the reasons I was doing it. But, like you and I, it wasn't enough. We invested that time, we invested the energy, we know where we came from, and we know where we're headed. And I think it's very important that we realize that, and we have awareness now. A lot of people in my community, they were doing jobs or going to school for what their parents wanted them to do, just because their parents see, the opportunities that we have in the United States. But as I started developing myself, I realized we truly have to follow our passion. We have to try, because every decision that we make is based on a feeling, on an emotion. If you don't follow what you're truly passionate about, is it really worth going? And I have a lot of friends that went to school. They spent a lot of money, resources, time, energy, and they're not doing the job that they went for. And me looking at it, it's like, well, if it's not your passion, why did you do it? But it's that pressure, right? Pressure from the culture, from our background, from our paradigms and our mental habits. And it's something that got me into the business of doing what I'm doing right now. I want to help many people around the world as I can. And, I see you're wanting to do a coaching business too. And I think your history and the things that you've gone through make you a perfect candidate to be a coach, to be a mentor, because you have not only the knowledge, but you also have that experience to back that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back, to how we are kind of being a little bit not forced, but you want to do things with to satisfy our parents, right? And that's what it is. It's like you said, I know several individuals that have gone to college because mom was a nurse, dad was a doctor, and so on, and they go in those fields, but they're really not happy. They're really not satisfied because it just, they're satisfying someone else's needs, not theirs. And now you're spending all these thousands of dollars for the loans, and now you're going into a different field, but you still have to pay off those loans and so on.
What would you say throughout this process? What would you say was probably one of your biggest maybe struggles, hurdles, or events that maybe took place in your life that kind of made you think twice about your goals, about your dreams, or about your vision?
Honestly, Mansur, I never been taught to have a goal or anything in my life. This was just until recently, a couple months ago. Nobody teaches those things, or having a coach, having a mentor. It's just, you don't even think about those stuff, coming, especially being brought up in a village, because you don't even have the finances to afford it.
And I think it's an experience that you needed, right? Because we know up to a point what it is that we're seeking, and sometimes that's exactly, you get a coach, you get a mentor to help you figure those things out, and one of my fears is, I went through college, I work in a world leading company, agriculture company, where I'm managing about $500 million a year. The thing is I wasn't happy because it wasn't my true passion. I love what I do, but it wasn't my true passion. Like motivational speaking, being a motivational speaker, being able to empower millions around the world. And it's something that I always used to put on the back burner because, of course, I'm going to take care of my parents. But that's always going to be there. I'm always going to take care of them. That's not going to change. But I was putting myself on the back burner, making great money, but not doing what I'm passionate about. And then, I decided, I have to follow my goal. I have to follow my dream and create something out of my life. And, you're right. Schools don't teach that. They teach a curriculum that they have, but they don't teach you how to get results, and they do different studies and everything. But if you don't, work on your mental faculties, and if you don't take actionable steps to get you towards your goal, you're going to be sitting with your paradigm and doing things that you've always done and getting the results that you've always done. And, you're going to be frustrated, depressed, stressed out, and everything else. And you're going to waste time, energy, and money. So why not put the investment in yourself and go towards that, goal and vision?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know where to start. Like you said, everything happens in your life for a reason, right? And so 2 years ago, I went through a divorce. I've been married for 12 years, been with my ex-wife for 15 years and so on. We had wonderful careers, wonderful jobs, 2 beautiful children. I have a 10-year-old son, 6-year-old daughter, beautiful homes, cars, vacations, and so on. And the life was amazing. I didn't complain or anything, but the problem right now I see with the society, with that we've been brought up, and with the social media and everything that is happening, it's just like not many, I would say, are living their own lives. They're always looking up, hey, what is my neighbor doing? What is this lady doing? This, and so on, right? And what it is, it's and I think it's frustrating, right, that we do that, because not living your own life, just looking at yourself, it's just like a lot of times we're just unhappy with ourselves, right? So like in my marriage, I would say it just like many ask me, okay, why did you get divorced? What happened? You guys had such a good life. You guys had everything, this and that. It's just like, if you don't work on your marriage, then you work on your divorce. You get so accustomed where, oh yeah, you're already with that person, this and that, and so on. And then, it just like, as time passes by, then it's just like 2 people just grow apart. They don't do things together they used to do, or so on. But a lot of changes when the kids come. You start investing time in your children and so on. You go do different activities and so on, and by the end of the day, you're just exhausted. We just want to go to bed and relax. And when you want to go out on a weekend or something, then you're just tired, and it's just like you're just growing apart and so on.
You talk about the external circumstances, right? We all have it: jobs, kids, grandkids, whoever it might be. We have these external factors that we tend to put ourselves on the back burner, or we don't focus on the things that we need to keep going, right? To stay on that mission, to stay healthy, to stay safe, and to stay on that road of, self-care. And a lot of people don't do that. And you're absolutely right. And when I started my business, and, I was looking at my cousins, I was looking at close family members, because I know that they'd stick close to me. Of course, my parents were always there. My sister was always there. My girlfriend was always there. But you have to surround yourself around people like that, right? You have to be in that atmosphere, because those are the people that are on our mission themselves. They're goal oriented, and that's the crowd that you want to hang out with. And, I had some backlash from people in my community. He thinks he's better than everybody. He's arrogant, but they don't understand that I'm on a mission because I have a goal that I want to attain. And you and I both know, if you don't put in the time, you don't put in the effort, you don't take the time to learn about yourself and develop yourself, you're going to be stuck right where you're at. And it's very hard for some people to see that. And it's nothing personal against anybody, but we're all unique in our own way, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what happened to me after my divorce. It was just, I was so angry, I was so upset, at myself, at God, at the whole world. Like, why me? I'm such a good person, I go to church, I help everyone, this and that and so on. Why did this happen to me? At the moment I didn't know, because it's just, it's very emotionally, it's very painful. I don't wish this to upon any man and woman out there, just to go through it, because not many know or feel what it is if you don't go through that experience. And I went through it. Like I said, it wasn't fun. It's feeling like a failure. Like your family, your kids are just gone. Now you're going from seeing your kids every single day, now seeing them every other weekend and one day during the week and so on. So it's very hard. It's just like going to work. I would go to work, I would be there physically, but emotionally I would be just out, because you have the self-talk, all this negative self-talk with yourself. You beat yourself up, you tell yourself so many bad things, that and you, it's just unbelievable with the self-talk, how what's it called, you realize like that you have all this anger, this nastiness towards the other person, all this anger, frustration, whatever it is. And I'm like, oh my God, that is not me. It just like, you realize that, it just, when you go to court, you see the other person. It's like, we've been together for so many years, we built so much, and now we cannot even look at each other. Now we want to just destroy each other and so on. And it's not fun.
You're right. Our mental faculties, right? We have about 80,000 thoughts a day. 90% of them are repetitive from the day before. And when it comes to our mind, if we do not manage it, it's going to become our biggest and best enemy. Even though this was a tough situation for you, and I don't wish it upon anybody, you still had and saw an opportunity for growth, for development. And, you went through self-development yourself, but you also wanted it to bring change. You wanted it to impact people around the world. What is something that you're doing right now, or that you're going to do to help other people that might be maybe in a similar situation, or might be feeling a certain way about a situation that they're in, that might be related to something like you went through?
Yeah, so I want to talk to men and women out there that actually went through a divorce. And I was stuck. I have lost my self-confidence. I had just lost myself. It was just, you are lonely, you are depressed, you don't want to deal with nobody or anything. So I wished I had myself 2 years ago. I wish I knew what I know now 2 years ago. So what I was doing through it, just like, I asked myself, okay, what do I have to do in my life? Because I told myself that, hey, after this divorce, either I'm going to be a victim or I'm going to be a victor. What am I going to do? Either I can just, live this way, be all angry and upset at myself and just be negative and then just live like this. And I said, that is not like me. And I felt, like I knew there's something going on, like something was just telling me to do certain thing. So I was looking into different self-development. I asked myself, okay, what do I need to like grow, develop myself, to help me with my businesses? I'm doing also, credit repair business and so on, because I know when people go through the divorce, their credit and so on gets destroyed. So, and as we know how credit is very important in the United States, everywhere you go, everyone looks at your credit report and then credit score. And, if you have bad credit, then, you got to pay thousands on interest rates and so on. So that was one of the reasons why I'm doing whatever I'm doing, to help not only divorced people, but, individuals out there that need help. So while doing that, I asked myself, okay, in order to, in this business to do good and so on, I got to get better at public speaking and so on, which I was really shy. I remember first time going on Facebook Live, it took me maybe half an hour. I was pacing back and forth and I would be drinking water. But it's just the fear. It's just the fear that stops us from from greatness and so on. So I did. So I enrolled into what's called Power Voice by Mr. Les Brown. So that was amazing course program that I went through, and that's how I met my mentor, John Tallarico. And it's especially having limiting beliefs and having the fear of not having the money or investing in yourself, because it costs money in self-development, getting a coach, getting a mentor. And a lot of people, it stops them, right? But once you take the risk in life, because you have to take risk. If you don't take risk, that's what I have learned. If you don't take those risks in life, then you're just going to be stuck where you are, and then you just wish, oh, I wish I did this now, and so on. So I enrolled. I partner up with John Talarico, and the program Thinking into Results. It was a 6-month program, and to me, it was the best thing that I did for myself. I went all in on myself. I put all the chips on myself, and you know what? It was transformational for me. What this program did to me, where I was before, where I am now, right now, it's amazing. That's how I also have this passion right now. To help the divorced men and women. That's why I'm building this coaching business, because I know how much need there is to help men and women out there, because I have many friends as well, and I talk to them, and then we struggle, because especially for us, for men, we're being taught to be tough. Don't show weakness, don't show, men don't show cry, this and that, right? But inside, emotionally, we're self-destroying ourselves. We're living in this penitentiary prison. It's unbelievable, like what we go through and how it affects our health, how it affects our lifestyle and everything. So it's amazing, what this program has done for me, how it has transformed me. And before, I wouldn't even think about a coaching business, because I would have this fear that I am not enough, or I don't have enough funds, this and that, or I'm too scared, what am I going to say, this, all those different things that would just, this negative self-talk that would just stop you from it.
I definitely see growth in you, and it's the growth and the things that you've gone through, breaking those barriers. You talk about, you're going on stage, you're pacing, you have fear in your mind, and we're programmed to think, on fear or low vibrations, and then we get depressed, stressed, and everything else. But you were able to conquer those fears. You were able to, get a grasp on your feelings and your emotions, and redirect that energy, get yourself in a high vibration, and start enjoying life again. And it's very hard that I haven't experienced what you've experienced. I've seen friends experience that, and it's a tough time, both for men, women, anybody that's going through that. It's definitely a tough time, because we are like chemicals.
Yeah.
We react or we respond, and most people don't know the difference or what happens inside of us. And some people, it keeps them stuck for years, for a long time. I'm proud of you for taking and being encouraged by other mentors and coaches, and making a decision that you wanted it to change your life, knowing, hey, this is not the person I am. This is not who I want to be. This is not who I want my kids to see, and you made a decision to invest in yourself. And, a lot of people talk themselves out of investing in themselves, right? Because they're always thinking money. It's like, if you keep thinking money, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna lose time. You're gonna lose energy. And as our mentor said, John Talarico, you're already dying for what you don't want. You might as well be dying and trying to achieve everything that you want out of your life, because we already know the end result, right? We're only here for a limited amount of time. And when I see my friends, they think they have a lot of time. You don't have time. You can't buy time. I wake up every single morning with hitting the ground running. It's me against the clock.
No, and that's what I love. That's what this program has taught me. Because before, I would have no goals or anything, so I would just drift all over the place. And you're doing the same thing over and over, and you're unhappy. Either with your finances, with your life, with your health, with your spirituality, whatever it is, right? But this program has taught me that we need a structure in our life. Now I have a routine that I do in the morning. I do it in the evening. It's just like we have been programmed certain way. We have been programmed by our surroundings, how we've been raised, in our families, who we hang around with, and so on. And not having that goal, basically, it's just like you said, you just drift all over the place. But now you have a goal, you have a direction, you have a vision where you're going to, and that's what you focus on. And it's challenging, but once you write it down, once you make that decision, like you said, once you change your vibrations, you're on those higher vibrations, you surround yourself with people like what John did for me. He took so much, because we have infinite potential in us. We all do. We have unlimited resources inside of us, right? And having a coach, having a mentor, they will take the skill sets, all the abilities, the talents that you have within you, and that's what they have done. It's just like, wow, it's pretty incredible. We have it all in there, but you just have to undig it and go so on.
I see it like a puzzle, right? I see it like a big puzzle, and we're trying to put in the pieces, and sometimes the piece that we think goes there, it doesn't, and we have to readjust ourselves, but that's okay. That's what life is. One of our abilities that we try to do as humans, we compare ourselves to others, which we shouldn't. Our job is ourselves. And, I always tell my clients, go out in nature, because when you're out in nature, you can't compare yourself to anybody. But that's why nature is relaxing. It calms us down, right? So when people get stressed out, if they're in nature, they start getting calm and they don't realize why they're calm. You have no comparison in nature. It's so much bigger than us, that energy, right? You have the trees, you can hear the water. There might be animals running around, but our body is built that we have these senses, ability to smell, touch, hear, taste, and feel. But we have so much more than that. We have the ability to think, and when I launched my company and the course that I'm launching, I teach people exactly that. Why it's important to have goals. Why is it important to have a mission? And this morning I was talking about the importance of gratitude, and you bring that up. Hey, you want to be in high vibration, and it's one of the most important things. We wake up these days and everybody's running towards their cell phone. They're running towards the TV. It's like you want to get your mindset before you do anything, so you have that awareness of who you truly are. Or else you're going to be walking around in the world and you're going to be dictated by everything around you. And, you're honestly probably not even going to know it, because we develop these habits by our external circumstances, and it's part of our programs. And, then we sit back one day and say, what the heck, where did that past 5-10 years go? What am I doing with my life? And that's kind of a moment that I had. And it's like, hey, I gotta get a handle on this and, follow my dreams. I don't have much time,
No, we don't have much time, and procrastination, it's just it's tough, and then especially having going through the reprogramming phase, like with some of the habits. Those habits are the killer. And then just like when I speak with my friends, and I try to I tell them what I have learned and what I go through, how I was able to change my self-image, how I got my goal, how am I doing at my goal, how am I doing with what we know and not doing what we know, and so on. And it's pretty amazing, knowing how how your subconscious, how your conscious mind works, how to it's basically like with our mind, with our thoughts, what we say, it just, everything around us is energy. It just, what we think about, that's who we become, right? And then what energy we send out, that's what we're going to attract. If we're going to focus on, hey, I don't have money, I'm always have debt, then that's what we're going to have in our life, and it's sometimes it's hard to tell someone, for them to understand that, hey, you have to just reverse your thinking a little bit. You have to change the way you think. You have to do certain things, because like your mind, you have to feed it, like you feed your body with food. So either you got to read books, watch videos, or just surround yourself with people that will feed your mind with stuff. It's just like they say, you're the average of 5. So if you surround yourself with people that are successful, they are they do very well in life, then that's who you're gonna be, and that's what you're gonna have in your life.
That's very true. And you know how the subconscious mind works, right? Whatever you feed it, it believes. It doesn't know the difference between fantasy or reality, and it's very important that we're self-cautious about how we talk about ourselves. It's being imprinted somewhere in the back there. And when negative thoughts or negative emotions occur, that's the first thing our mind's gonna find. I read the other day, our mind doesn't care if you're happy or you're sad. It cares to keep you protected.
Yeah.
But if you live that way, you're never gonna put yourself out there and take risk. You're not gonna want to be vulnerable and try to learn something. And sometimes it's like peeling an apple. You gotta peel yourself and then rebuild yourself back up, right? Go through a different process. And how do you change your results? You got to change the way that you think, because if you don't change the way you think, you're gonna get the same results that you've always gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing too is, Mansoor, is that many of us, we live in this comfort zone because it feels good. It feels good, because like you said, our brains, our bodies, that's the natural reaction just to protect us. So, if we go outside the comfort zone, then it doesn't feel well, right? You get this negative feeling and so on, and you stop doing what you want to do. You hit the fear barrier and you go back to your old self. And that's what I love about this program, and how it has helped me, how it has helped me, change my mindset, just change my self-image, who I am, doing self-affirmations and just reading different types of books and becoming a totally different person, a much better person, and person that have so many different abilities, so many different skill sets and so on, that I never knew that I had in me. And it's mind-blowing. It's incredible. Like, people even around tell me, my coworkers, my friends and so on, like they see the whole transformation in me.
You're building a better version of yourself, and nothing wrong with that. I love that, because I think everybody should do that, because we always have room to grow and improve. And you have all the capabilities, you have all the abilities. And when I've seen you on Facebook, and I talked to Joe a few weeks ago, he's like, hey, you should have Marcin on here. And I'm like, I got to get him on here. I know you're doing wonderful things, and you're going to help a lot of people around the world. And that's what people need, especially when they go through, tough situations as you have, and being able to go through self-development yourself, being able to get that, experience that you took from self-development, the things that you've gone through, and being able to help others. That shows that you're a remarkable and genuine human being. And, I always tell people, you will never go wrong by helping people.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never go wrong by doing that.
Thank you. And honestly, I just love it, like teaching people what I have learned through, through my experiences and so on. It brings me so much joy, where I tell everyone that, it just like, my goal is within the next 2 years, just, my full-time job is to be a life coach and a divorce consultant. And I already told God that, hey, this is what I dedicate my life to. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to speak on different stages. I'm going to share my story, and I'm going to impact, empower, and inspire thousands of lives. And it's just such a good feeling. It feels, because you know what? I've been there, I've done that, and I know how much impact sharing your story can help others. Because it's just, there's so many of us out there right now that are going through these struggles. They are, and either they're shy or afraid, or they don't know where to go and ask for help. And that's why it's just like, you know what, I gotta do this. I have a calling. So that's why I'm doing it. That's why I am passionate. When I wake up 4 in the morning, when I do my morning routine, when I do my goals, when I do my affirmations, watch my lessons and so on, it's just like, it's so much fun, because you know what, it just like, I am happy about my goal. I have a direction, I have a purpose in life. I don't have other distractions to focus on, that, oh, I gotta wake up again, I gotta go to this work that I don't like, this and that, all this negative different stuff. I don't have that right now, because I am just focusing on the good stuff, on the positive stuff, and that's what I feed myself with. And it's a life changing when you are just so happy, you are just so healthy, you love yourself, you can look in the mirror and say, oh my goodness, I love you, you're so amazing, I am so proud of you. How many men out there can do that?
Not a lot. I can tell you that right now. A lot of people might say they can. In reality, they can't. A lot of people, they know goals, things that they want to achieve, but they don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, they fall back on their mental faculties, same thinking, and same barriers. But, you're out here doing wonderful things. And like I said, you have every ability and every capability to help change millions of lives around the world. And I'm excited to see you flourish, and I know you have a set goal for 2 years. I think you might get there a little bit faster than 2 years, because you've been moving at a fast rate. And, I'm excited for you. I am very thankful that you came on here to share your story and your message. And, yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. You're an amazing person. And I know I spent some time talking to you, and, it's all about good people coming together and doing the good, right? Willing to help others out.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. It really means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. Having a friend like you, I love surrounding myself with like-minded individuals like you, because what you are doing with your business and so on. It just like I look up to you as well, because you are such an inspiration to thousands and millions of people out there. This is just the beginning for you and I. What God has in store for us, it's just like it's beyond our minds, and that's what I love.
Well, thank you
to be part of this family.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here. Definitely going to have you on here again to see and keep you on track with your goals and dreams. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the audience. Those of you that are tuning in, thank you guys very much. For those that have questions or want to connect with my guest here, just let me know and I can make that connection. And, everybody have a good night, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast, Marcin.
Yep. Thank you, and have a good night.
You too. Thank you.